Right now at 5, a fire destroys a downtown La Crosse building. We have team coverage live from the scene.
You're watching WKBT La Crosse. This is News 8 Now at 5.
Good evening. That's our top story tonight. The fire at the India Curry House is out, but La Crosse firefighters and others still have a lot of work to do.
We do have live team coverage from the scene near 4th and King Streets. We begin with our Mike Thompson, who is following the fire investigation. And Mike, are those firefighters still on the scene? I know they've been there nearly all day.
Yeah, Amy, most of the firefighters have left the scene right now, and looks are a little bit deceiving. As you can see behind me, crews have been working to tear down this building since they put the fire out earlier this afternoon. But just a devastating loss for the fire. A lot different scene here tonight, right now, than what people were watching unfold this morning. Now, a lot of you know that this building used to be the Hunan Chinese restaurant. It opened on February 1st as India Curry House. The good news, though, no injuries in this fire. Firefighters got the call about 4:15 this morning for a suspected fire at the restaurant, and when they got here, light smoke was coming from the building. Once they got inside, they found the fire spreading quickly in the basement kitchen and into the walls and floor. The intense heat forced firefighters out of the building, and then at one point the roof collapsed, and it didn't take long for it to turn into a raging inferno. The building is more than 120 years old, so that presented some challenges for firefighters as well. And take a look at this video from viewer Lisa Felt. She captured the moment the upper facade of the building came crashing down to the sidewalk in the street below. Firefighters worked really hard to keep the fire from spreading to the adjacent buildings. That includes Glory Days, the famous Packers bar, and the Gold and Silver Exchange on the other side. Firefighters say the fire did not reach either of those buildings. And again, the good news here tonight, there were no injuries. Everyone who lived in the apartments on this block did make it out safely. 4 cats were rescued in the fire, and 1 was able to be resuscitated by firefighters here at the scene. The cause of this fire at this time is still unknown and being investigated. Now, as we mentioned, there were some people living in the apartments above this restaurant. News 8 Now's Emily Haugen spoke with one of those people who was living in the apartments, and she joins us now live downtown with more.
This morning's fire destroyed the apartment and destroyed the restaurant and the 3 apartments above it. Sunil Naik lived in one of them. He was home when the fire started and saw smoke coming up through the floor into his apartment and heard someone telling him to evacuate. Sunil got out as quickly as he could. He made it out safely with nothing but the clothes on his back.
I came downstairs, whatever we was wearing. So some of my friends also, they're like wearing a shorts. And when we came down, we don't have anything except my car, but my...
Sunil has roommates. They also made it out safely, but they also lost everything they owned. Firefighters evacuated the other apartments on the block, but good news, everyone made it out safely with their pets. There are no reports of any injuries. Glory Days is right next door. I spoke with the bar owner. He was hoping for minor damage, but we have just learned the Glory Days building has been condemned. Tonight at 6, we'll tell you what the business owner would like the community to do to help all the businesses on the block. Mike?
Thanks a lot, Emily. And the Red Cross is providing assistance to some of those people displaced by the fire. News 8 Now's Dua Israr has been looking into this story and joins us now with more on how the Red Cross was providing virtual assistance. Dua.
Mike, early this morning, the fire department contacted the Red Cross to help the 5 people who were living in the apartments above the restaurant. The Red Cross is already working with providing them short-term housing solutions such as a hotel, meals, replacement clothes, and any mental health needs they may have. The Red Cross doesn't have any boots on the ground here at the scene, but the agency was ready to quickly get to work and help.
Making sure that we have identified everyone who is displaced and affected and make sure they have their emergency needs taken care of, and then really working on kind of the recovery phase as we get later in this week.
The Red Cross wasn't the only community partner to help out. The La Crosse MTU provided a bus for the people who were evacuated. A mechanic volunteered to come down to the bus station right across the street and help the people who were evacuated sit in the bus and stay warm. And the Red Cross says that there were 2 people in the building adjacent to the India Curry house that also need housing and were displaced, but the agency is still trying to work out what those needs are at this time.
Yeah, again, just a devastating loss here in downtown La Crosse, but again, the good news, no one was injured. Thanks a lot, Dua. And the Red Cross says they will stay in touch with people who lost their homes today to figure out what the long-term recovery will be like for them. Well, 4th Street here behind me remains closed at this hour. We don't have word yet on when it will reopen. 4th Street is blocked from Cass Street all the way down to J Street. There is a marked detour to help drivers get around the area. The route is listed on your screen. The city street department says the detour will be in place until further notice. And one other thing to note, the building was not officially designated as historic, either locally, state, or federally, but it's still, as we mentioned, more than 120 years old. So it does have historic significance and value to the city of La Crosse. And we're going to have more on that coming up tonight at 6 o'clock. For now, we're live in downtown La Crosse. I'm Mike Thompson, News 8 Now. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Mike. And we did post viewer videos and photos as some as our live coverage from earlier today at that fire at the India Curry House. You can find it all at news8000.com.